Greetings, my fellow music fans. Today's video is going to be a focus on my King's X collection. I am pretty big fan of King's X. I've only seen them live once, but they will be playing Nashville middle to end of July, and my plan is to go see them. Been looking forward to it. They came through Nashville, I think about a year ago, and I missed out on that one. It had been planned, I think, during the pandemic, and then it was postponed, and I just never picked up a ticket, and probably worked out best that I didn't. But this time I'm definitely going to see them. Looking forward to them playing their new material. And without any further ado, those of you that are King's X fans, I'm probably not going to show much of anything that you haven't seen before, but maybe there's somebody out there who's only dipped their toes in the water of King's X and might decide to check out some of their stuff based on this video. So I'm going to start from the beginning. This is an album that I did not originally get. I have a 2014 re-release. This is from the Rock Candy release. It remastered, or at least boosted sound, and there's no extras on it, but usually these Rock Candy releases have a good bio and write-up on the band and the albums. Cool album, good start. Not my favorite of theirs, but maybe if I had gotten into this album when it was first released in 1988, I would have appreciated it more. This was the first one that Sam Taylor had produced, and I know that he had a big part to play in the early King's X material and Galactic Cowboys. So fine start for the band, but it was their second album that I had picked up from Columbia House Records. Yeah, I used to buy, 12, I don't know, 8 albums or 8 CDs or 12 CDs for a penny or something like that to join the club. And this was one that I picked up. I had seen the promo in Hit Parader and was curious about the band. And God, I words don't do this album justice. This album had such a huge impact on me. When the first time I heard it, it just blew my socks off. And I can't think of another album that it sounded like this. I mean, I heard obviously there's a lot of comparison to the Beatles and harmonies, but you know, for a hard rock band, I can't think of another band that sounded like them then or now. And this is definitely within my top 3 favorite albums. So Desert Island, this one's coming with me. All 3 of the guys on this album, just awesome. Wonderful songs, and to this day, I could listen to this album every day and not grow tired of it. I did get so that was originally released on Megaforce and Atlantic Records, and number of years ago, Metal Blade started re-releasing a lot of those Atlantic albums, so I do have a copy of one of my favorite albums on record, black vinyl. I'm not going to pull that out to show it because it's just plain old regular black, but fantastic album. Second one I picked up, obviously probably in order of when they were released. This one was not from Columbia House. Picked this up from a record store, and Faith, Hope, Love, another fantastic early album by them. Didn't like it as much as Gretchen Goes to Nebraska, but definitely musicianship is outstanding on this. So great songs. They definitely put out a great, for me, sophomore, because this would have been the second one that I heard. And recently also picked this one up on record. And this one, unlike the last one was Metal Force, this one is music on vinyl. And there is both black vinyl and gold vinyl variants. And I jumped on this one to make sure that I was getting a copy of the gold vinyl, simply because I feel like that one did a good job of kind of matching the color scheme for the logo on the front and the title. And with it being one of the colored versions of the music on vinyl, it is a limited number, and I've got 449. I don't remember what the total was on this one. 1,500. Double record on this one. And another Atlantic record release, the self-titled album number 4, King's X. This one I think got some play on MTV, as did the last 2 albums, the ones prior to this. I believe Black Flag was one of the songs and videos that was played a bunch on MTV. And again, had to have it on record. And this one is also on, released by Metal Blade Records, released in 2016. One that it took me a number of years to pick up. So this one, the next album that they released, I did not get when it was first released. I know there was a lot of hype around it. It seemed like it was a fan favorite at the time. And I'm not sure when I finally broke down and bought it. And the copyright is 1994, Dogman. Got the yellow cover. I believe there was a pink or red color, blue color. Other than the cover variants, I think everything else on the CD was the same. And this is one of the few that I do not have on. I don't have a record version of it. So someday I will, hopefully, maybe if they do a repress, or if I can find one of the Metal Blade releases for a decent price, I'll grab that. Next one is actually, I would put it as my second favorite from the band after Gretchen Goes to Nebraska, and that's Ear Candy. Picked this one up shortly after it was released, and I don't know what it is about this one, just the songs clicked. To me, it just felt like it, not to say that the last 2 had pulled away from their sound from Gretchen Goes to Nebraska, but this one just maybe reminded me a little bit of that. Just once again, great musicianship. They always have great musicianship, but just great songs. And thought the cover was really cool. The color scheme on the back, guys lounging on a couch. They had cut their hair at that point. They all kind of lost long hair, but their songs and ability of playing music was still there. So, had to get that one on record too. So another Metal Blade, black vinyl, double record. Picked up the best of, and that had, I believe, 2 unreleased songs on it, and then a live version of Over My Head. Other than that, it wasn't anything that I hadn't heard before, but kind of cool to have. And then I believe I have these in chronological order. Around that time was when Doug Pinnick did his first solo release under the name Pound Hound. This one was released from Metal Blade, originally only released on CD, and recently some of the Pound Hound stuff has been released on record, and this one obviously owned by Metal Blade, but released through Brutal Planet Records. And this one does say random color. It was supposed to be a mix of colors, and to my eyes, when it's laying on the turntable, it looks black, but it is probably a mix of some purple and black and maybe some red. But You can hardly tell that it's a colored vinyl, but single, good album, kind of following in the lead of what King's X were doing post Ear Candy. And post Ear Candy brings us to Tapehead, which was quite a bit different than what the band had done prior to. I don't know if alternative music was maybe having a little influence on them. It still rocks. Awesome songs. The guys are still doing what they do best, but there was definitely a little change in their sound. Just a few years ago, I would think it was maybe 3 years ago, this and the following albums after Tapehead were released for record store releases. This one was limited to 2,500, so actually handwritten on the back. This one is number 988, and a nice, somewhat translucent hot pink record. The one that followed after that is the Please Come Home, Mr. I practiced saying this a couple of weeks ago. I knew I wasn't going to get it. Bubbleless, or Bubbleless. I thought that was a pretty cool alternative or prog rock looking cover with the person with the bulb head. This version of the CD, I made sure that when I found this when I was getting the 2-disc version, because it actually does come with the main album and also a CD-ROM, and that CD-ROM is a digital copy of their VHS release then, which was just a short little, I don't know that we would even want to call it a documentary, but just a short form video, I think, talking about the band. I'm not sure. Let's see, it's 24 minutes. It was released in, my eyesight, I think it's 2000. I believe in 2000. So 24 minutes, some footage of the guys from early on. I don't remember if there's concert footage. Need to go back and revisit that in the digital format, seeing how I don't have a working VHS player right now. Next up, following kind of along with those last two albums, we have Maniac Moonlight, also Metal Blade Records, and with those also came, like I said, a few years ago, we had the releases of those for Record Store Day, and this one also 2,500 releases. This one is numbered 497, and this one had a clear yellow, translucent yellow, single record. And the Maniac Moonlight, also 2,500. This one is numbered 1,460. This one is translucent pink. Another Doug album, Pineapple Skunk, so the second of the Pound Hounds. This one has recently been released on record. Have not picked that one up yet. That will eventually make its way to my collection. And then we've got Ogre's Tones, in a slipcase. As far as I know, this one has not been released on record. I would imagine with all the record releases of their albums within the last few years, it probably won't be too long we'll see that one. Even though this one was, let's see, it's Inside Out music, so no longer Metal Blade or Atlantic. And I picked up, I guess this would be considered an official bootleg. This was released by the band on Molkin Records, and this is a two-disc live. It is called Tales from the Empire, and it was recorded Cleveland 6/26/92, 1992. I think the same time I ordered that, I had also gotten a DVD, and this is when they were touring on the Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. It is titled Gretchen Goes to London, live at the Astoria, 5/6/1990. And on the back it has the songs and some extras. The extra says raw footage of In the New Age, raw footage of the Burning Down, and preview of coming attractions, promotional commercials. I've only watched this once. The footage was okay. I do need to go back, give it another watch, and I'm kind of curious as to what the extras look like. But there's not much in the way of, they've released a few live albums, but as far as live footage, DVDs, Blu-ray, this is about it. So they're kind of overdue. I would love to see a documentary on the band, or even just a well-created live Blu-ray or DVD. That would be fantastic. Now, just to, let's see, forgetting most recently picked this one up, Black Vinyl. This is their newest album, 3 Sides of One, and this is the album that they're currently touring on. And enjoy this one. It's for a bunch of guys that are getting up there in age. They're still rocking. Great album, and I'd love to hear songs as much as I want to. I want to hear what I would consider their hits live. I would be perfectly fine if half of the songs that they did in their concert came from this album. It's that good that they would be able to hold up with their best material. Real quick, just a few extras from some of the band members. Doug has done quite a few side projects, and I had picked this one up, the KXM, and this was one of Doug's side projects with George Lynch. Yeah, probably haven't given this one enough spins for it to truly sink in, but my recollection last time I listened to it, it was enjoyable. I don't know that Greg's music has really touched me as much as it did back in the 80s with Dawkins, even the stuff that he's done with Michael Sweet. He's a great guitar player, but I just haven't really felt it. Maybe I just need to give it some more spins. And then Jerry Gaskin, the drummer from King's X, has done a few of his own solo albums. So this was his first one, released on Inside Out Music. And this one came out in 2004. And anything the guys from King's X do is worth listening to. It's all good. And then Jerry's second release came, it had to have been probably about 10 years between the two albums. This one came out in 2020, so I guess pre-COVID, and Love and Scars. And this one double record on, I believe it's translucent. It is translucent yellow. So really eye-catching color, goes well with the cover. And I do believe that is, oh, well, no, I was going to say, I think that's all I have, but recently I've started picking up some of Ty's albums because he's got quite a few solo albums. I believe this one was his second release, originally on Metal Blade. This was recently re-released on Brutal Planet Records. No extras on it, but it's got the original 11. And so just recently started giving that some listens. And the album that came after that, which is Safety, also re-released on Brutal Planet. This one I have not cracked open yet. It is the gold disc version, and I'm gonna see if I can't maybe trim out the side, be able to keep the plastic. I'm a stickler for trying to keep the hype stickers, and with, you can see with my records, I usually cut along the sides, and I try to keep the records looking as new as possible, as long as there doesn't appear to be any damage to the outer sleeve. I usually just do a cut along the edges there. So there you all go. There's my collection of King's X goodies, and always looking to add to the collection. And like I said, really excited to be able to see them live again, support a band that I think is highly underrated, deserves a lot more recognition. I know there's a lot of people that respect them, but I just don't think they've gained the accolades that they deserve. You know, I don't want to get into a whole conversation about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they're definitely a band that should have beaten many other musicians in the doors of that prestigious recognition of musicianship. So I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this 22-minute video. I hope I haven't bored you to death, but if you have stories to tell about King's X, maybe shows that you've seen or meeting the band members, or like them, love them, you know, if you got a few moments, put a comment down below. I appreciate you watching, and peace to you all.